Welcome to the show. There is the People's Bench. We are coming to you live from Game Suites here in Riverside. I am your host, Fred Ogweno, and today we're going to look at President Ruto's reign. It seems like things are getting hotter. His house is on fire both in and outside. And to help me look at this is none other than Mr. Fa Mambo Kinia. Welcome to the show, my brother, Mr. Fa Mambo Kinia. Tell me, President Ruto's house seems to be on fire both in and outside. Tell me, what is happening?
Nothing uncommon. I think it's payback time. When he was Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, he went around this country telling people how his boss is not good. He was even threatening his boss and telling his boss, usiue watoto wangu. He said, hii serikali ni ya walevi, watu wa bangi, wako na reggae and all sorts of things. And now he has people within his cabinet also fighting him and doing what he did, and then he's surprised. And then they're telling, boss, we learned from you. Justin Muturi is a student of William Ruto. He just learned from his boss that it is okay to disrespect your boss and do whatever you want to do. So I think this government is getting a dose of its own medicine. It's getting a taste of what it taught the people beneath him. And what they are doing for us is not strange, and if they continue doing it, it's well, it's healthy. Yeah.
Things are getting hotter in the mountain. Where does Ruto run to?
Promises. Number one, he promised serikali ya mahasla. You saw cabinet the other day when they were doing the interviews. People are worth billions. Those are the hustlers. Hao ndio mama mboga. Hao ndio wenye wataunda serikali. Hao ndio kinyozi. Those are not the hustlers. Hao sio mtu wa boda boda. So basically, what is hurting President William Ruto is not the political space up there. It is promises that he made that he hasn't kept or has no intentions of keeping. If he had kept his promise, hata angefanya PR atafute tu mtu mmoja mwenye has been in the informal sector and bring them to government and show that, you know, hustlers are with us, bottom up is working. But from where we sit, we are seeing someone coming to an interview and saying, I'm worth 3 billion, conservatively. I'm worth 5 billion, I'm worth 2.5 billion. What do you expect from Kenyans? It just tells you that it's a government for the rich. It's a collection of the dynasties, and they have come together. So from where I sit, I think it's just an issue of promises that were not kept. And as long as you don't keep them, then you're at war with the country and with yourself.
We were very patient with the President Kibaki, with the President Uhuru. Why Ruto?
Captain Ibrahim Traore has been in power for 2 years. William Samoei Ruto has been in power for 2 years. They both go to Ghana. You know who was celebrated. Why are they celebrating the captain and not celebrating our president? Even the continent is asking, when the 2 years belonging to Traore are special, they have more days within the 2 years compared to these 2 years. How much more time do you need? For example, how much time do you need to stop abducting Kenyans? Do we need to add you more days? How much time do you need to explain where 80 people are? Are they bodies? Are they alive? Are they dead? How much more time do you need? How many people? Imagine the military guy who walks with a pistol has not killed people, has not abducted people, has not mistreated his people, has not brought a finance bill that is meant to make things impossible for his country. And then we have a person democratically elected, and his administration is accused of the loss of so many lives and the disappearance of so many other people. So he needs to ask himself, it is not Kenyans who are the problem. It is you as an administration. If you're looking for the problems of Kenya, go and look at the mirror. Make sure it is well polished, then look at the mirror. That's where the problems of the country are. Yeah.
We keep on seeing new people joining the government every day. Are they joining a sinking ship?
Unfortunately, in this country, we have people who would occupy any position as long as it's available. And it's not about morals, it's not about standards, it's not about anything. You take what comes, and that is horrible, because you keep changing cabinet, because you keep disagreeing with Kenyans, and you keep disagreeing with what Kenyans want. And you keep getting the wrong ones anyway. The bulk of the people he's appointed to his cabinet are the ones now who are insulting Kenyans left, right, and center, and threatening Kenyans. And Kenyans are paying back by drawing them in all sorts of places. So he will face a much more difficult time as long as he continues with that approach against Kenyans.
Come on, look, we have people around the president who keep on criticizing these young people that they lack moral. But look, are they any better? Look at people like Farah Malim, like Sirisia MP John Waluke, the kind of words that that are coming out of their mouth. I mean,
two things. Number one, the president said we need to talk to our children so that they can stop behaving badly. I agree with him. If you have children who are driving brand new matatus in the wrong way and jumping over pavements, those children need to be called to order. If you have children who are lying to Kenyans left, right, and center, those children, whether they are big or small or adults, they need to be brought to order.
About abducting them.
So, and if you have children who live in this country and they have guns and they are abducting other people's children, those children need to be spoken to. So it's not a question of just speaking to those who are reacting to what government is doing. Number two, why are they doing what they are doing? Because nobody wants to address that. Our young people are hurting. Can you imagine going to the university with someone from first year all the way to fourth year, and then somewhere mid through the fourth year in June you go for a demonstration and you never get to see that young person? You don't know where he is. The family doesn't know where that child is. So every time the parents of that child see you, what do they feel? So young people right now are hurting and nobody is addressing that. You know, Rex Masai, you remember the way he was shot. And the few young people who were shot outside Parliament, and their brains were spilled on tarmac like they were thieves, like they were cattle rustlers, just for saying no to overtaxation. And nobody has ever come to apologize. Nobody has ever come and told young people, we are sorry. What we did was wrong, and we apologize for what we have done. What they are doing is fighting them for reacting. These young people are in a lot of hurt. They are in a lot of pain. And for as long as nobody is taking cognizance of their pain, they will do anything. That's why they drew the president in a coffin, something that I don't think was a very beautiful idea. But once they were done drawing him, other people came to threaten. Hata wao walichorwa, mpaka Museveni alichorwa, and they put pamba in his mouth, and they did all sorts of things. Is it a good thing? No. But what are they saying? They are not saying the president is dead. No. They are not saying Farah Malim is dead. No. They are not saying Kipchumba Murkomen is dead. No. They are saying the consciousness of these leaders is dead. The consciousness of these people is in a casket. It's in a coffin. These people have lost all consciousness and they are dead. So they need to ask themselves, why are young people looking at me and thinking of me as dead? It's because when we tell you that we have lost lives, you don't feel it. Because when we tell you that our friends wanted to have Christmas with their parents, you don't feel it. So your consciousness is dead, you leaders. And when a human being loses their consciousness, they stop becoming human. They become something different. So go and look for your consciousness and ask yourself, what have we done to the children of young people in this country?
You were on the streets fighting against finance bill. You were fighting for good governance. You fought against corruption. But now look, what comes into your mind when you see president getting into the archives and recycling leaders such as Kabogo, you know, is saying that those are the best? What comes into your mind, my brother? How do you feel?
So I think I would like to say the following. One of the first things that we have done is we have stopped feeling. And we have realized that you have people who you cannot change because of shame. You know, naturally God gave us something called shame. It's a gift. People don't know. God gave us a gift called shame. So that if I tell you shame on you, it hits you and you go back and you reset and you want to adjust. This is an administration that you cannot bring to the table of shame. Anything you tell them that is shameful, they don't feel it. It does not touch them. It doesn't affect them. I have told young people time and again, they keep saying we need to go back to the streets. I tell them don't. And they tell me why. And I am not getting tired of explaining this to them. I am telling them that the Kenya Kwanza administration is prepared for your body. They have the full armor for the policemen to protect them from your stones. They have a baton to beat up your knees and arms and bring you to the ground. They have the water to spray you, the cannons. They have everything. They even have a lot of tear gas and they have bullets. The one thing that the Kenya Kwanza administration is not prepared for is your brains as young people. Stop throwing your bodies at them. That has been done for many years. Start throwing your brains at this administration. I know the leader of Denmark was supposed to come here, Netherlands. And young people went online and sent thousands of emails
over
saying that,
300,000.
yeah, over 300,000,
Yes.
that this president should not come here. This leader should not come to this country. He should not work with William Ruto. And it was on their news. That is a more serious and violent demonstration than being on the streets. Because if today the young people were to say that we shall make sure the president doesn't travel, not by going to the airport, we're not going to block the aeroplanes, but by making sure that the destinations that he's going to are being told, do not receive our head of state if he comes. And they say, no, we have 300,000 emails, we have 500,000 emails, and they are all saying, do not come to our country, so don't come. What will happen? The president will be grounded here. So don't go for the maandamano that says we are going to occupy the airport. No. Occupy the spaces of the host. Send 1 million emails to them and make sure they can't even figure out which emails belong to Kenya and which ones are theirs. So when we throw our brains at this administration, they are not prepared for that. And that is the best kind of maandamano. And when you think about it, even the most hostile animals, even the most ferocious animals like the lion, they know when to hibernate from the agents. You don't come say, hey, the sun is so hot, Mimi, I'm a lion. You're fighting with the sun. Why are you fighting with the sun? The cleverest of animals know when the winter is too much, even the bears hibernate, and they have fur. Young people, this is the time to hibernate. This is the time to change this war against this administration. This is the time to do those things you can do on your phone, on your email, on everything. We will still keep them on toes. How do you think they are feeling right now when they know they can't go, or the president of the Netherlands can't come here? How do you think they are feeling? It's affecting them more than stones. It's affecting them more than tear gas and demos in town. Absolutely. So for young people, this is a beautiful season for us to change the way we demonstrate in 2025. I have seen young people embracing AI and demonstrating through AI. They say somebody likes watches and they did something for him that had a lot of watches and belts. They are showing you that we are demonstrating 2025 style.
What do you think about the high priest of morality? Those who were telling young people that they should have morals, yet themselves they do not have it. Look at Fa Mambo again. I mean, look at Waluke. He utters such kind of sentiments right in front of the president and is not reprimanded for that. Yet they are able to come and tell young people to behave. I mean,
number one, Fa Mambo, you're out of order. Completely out of order. Fa Mambo,
a member of parliament, elected by the people.
Okay, Fa Mambo, we are calling you out and telling you that you're out of order. You're out of order completely because the things you said, first, that he gave a compound word. The first part of it I can't even mention. But the second part of it is Nina. Nina means mother. So that and then Nina. So he's insulting people by the private parts of their mothers. So it's actually an insult to the mothers of this country and to the women of this country. And it is unacceptable. I hope that not just the president, but the Muslim community, especially the leaders, the sheikhs, the Supreme, will come out and condemn and say that this is not even acceptable within the ranks of Islam. Because a person of his rank should be called out by people higher and older than himself. So he's out of order, he's done wrong. We were almost forgiving him when he said he could kill 5,000 of us. And now there he is feeling entitled to call us all sorts of words. Fa Mambo, you failed. You are totally and completely out of order. And what you did is unthinkable. And I hope your children never get to hear those words. The head of state, it was wrong to condone that such words would be said in your presence and you don't counter them. I wish he said that this is not a representation of what my administration is about. But the fact that they were said in his presence and he appeared to condone them now makes it even more palpable about it.
President Ruto did not elect himself, neither was he the only candidate on the ballots in the last elections. Why would Kenyans elect a president then come back barely 2 years after the elections and say that, begin complaining?
I'd like to say this. Sometimes you find yourself in a bus, and the bus is going to Mombasa. And before you get to a Mali, everybody is hooting at you, poo-poo, they are hooting lights, they are, the bus is going, veering off the road, almost hitting a mtaro, ikifika kwa bump, munarushwa juu. I mean, you will complain because you're not even quarter way through the journey and you can see signs that this thing might land you in the back of a trailer or it can give you a head-on collision with another bus. And before you even get to Emali, every oncoming vehicle is flashing lights at you, hooting at you. The people behind you are hooting at you because the vehicle is being driven badly. And you are inside that bus. So you have a right as a passenger to say, wait a minute, driver, my life is in this bus. And I have people who depend on me and who will continue to depend on me. So we have to make noise at the driver of the bus. So he needs to know the only reason we are making noise at him is because he's holding the steering. We are all on board and our lives matter.
But why would you get in a bus and begin complaining that the bus, the driver is drunk, that the bus has no safety belt, that the bus, begin complaining about everything wrong about the bus when you had the opportunity to board a different vehicle?
My grandfather used to say that he fears idiots more than fire, electricity, even tornadoes. Because the problem with idiots is there are too many and one day they will make one of their own president. And it happens. Let me tell you how the Hustler Nation was born. And I'm not saying it was born of idiots. I don't want to be misquoted, but I want to tell you, if you go to a highway, I'll give an example of Salga. There is a bunch of people trading on a part of the road they shouldn't be. In any normal country, because a trailer can lose control and kill all of them. But they come first, they lay things on the ground. And then with time, they build small structures. And with time, it becomes almost like a permanent market. Very close to a highway where vehicles do at 120 kilometers per hour. And then when an accident happens, they make noise and insist that bumps must be built. Not them to be moved from the road. Bumps must be built for them to remain selling there. After some time, what usually happens in this country, these people become too many, and an election comes, and they vote one of their own as MCA. A person who believes that selling on the road is a right thing, he becomes MCA, so he protects them. With time, because now every other market is copying that, and people are selling in all sorts of wrong places, an MP who comes to campaign is told, ukitaka kuchaguliwa, shikana na watu wa soko. So what happens? Now they get an MP who thinks like them. Before you know, they have a governor, a senator. The only thing they have never had in their lifetime was a president. And so that group of people, when William Ruto was campaigning, came and told them, nyinyi hasla nyinyi, tutaunda serikali na nyinyi. They were like, yeah, we came to the side of the road, we made an MCA, we made an MP, and now someone is associating with us and saying that what we've been doing in the wrong places is the right thing. So they voted him for president. I have always said that sometimes we need to change that BVR kit. You know, the one you go and check whether it is you. We remove it and replace it with something for checking whether your brain is suitable for you to even vote. So that when you they say, substandard brain, then you don't vote. Because really, we have had, can you imagine, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o queuing on a matter as important as the referendum, or James Orengo. And he knows what he's going to vote for. And he has one vote on a referendum about a constitution. And then the guy behind him is a Mulevi who woke up in the morning and asked people, tuna vote nini? He also has one vote. So this guy cancels what Professor Anyang' Nyong'o did on the ballot. I think on some of these issues we need to ask ourselves, is the ballot supposed to be for everybody? I know there is that universality of the ballot, that every person must have a ballot. But I think we have put way too many ballots in so many wrong hands, and they have made such horrible decisions for us. Yeah.
Some Kenyans think that part of what we are going through was brought upon them by Kenyans themselves. I mean, hii kierere mingi ya Kenya, those who are saying that Ruto is the best and they had the opportunity to elect a different leader. That's why they are saying that hii shida mulijiletea na sasa mbebe mzigo yenyu na kierere yenyu. I mean, that is what they are saying, that mlimpigia kura ng'ang'aneni na yeye.
I think number one, nobody should be victimized for how they vote. I personally did not vote for this administration. I've always made it very clear. In fact, I was an Azimio candidate somewhere. So I never voted for this. I had the Azimio ticket on a ballot somewhere. I never voted for this administration. However, even that mountain you talk about, 50% of the mountain did not vote. 50% of the mountain was at home.
80% voted.
No, I can tell you for free. Go and look. The mountain gave President William Ruto 3.7 million votes. And they gave Raila Amolo Odinga 1 million votes. That's 4.7 million. That region has 8 million votes. So there's a 4 million Kikuyus or people from the mountain who never woke up to vote because they never found a candidate suitable to have been president. I think we are here not because we voted for the wrong president. We are here because we allowed the wrong people to be on the ballot. EACC did not do their work. When you look at some of the people, like President William Ruto, and the number of cases he's had before him, right from 1992, he shouldn't have been a candidate on the ballot.
But Uhuru too was
precisely
ICC
this
charges
country
together
has
with Ruto.
gone to
what
so
people
many.
are saying that why Ruto? If we gave Uhuru time, if Uhuru was elected when they were facing charges at the ICC, you know, and now if it comes to Ruto's time, people are saying no.
That's why I'm saying, as a country, we need to ask ourselves, at what point do we draw a line? So we say, okay, Uhuru vied, it's okay, Ruto vied. So tomorrow, Maina Jenga comes and vies. We say because Uhuru and Ruto vied, let's allow Maina Jenga.
Absolutely.
The next time there was this guy who used to kill girls and throw their bodies in, what was his name? That guy.
In Kware somewhere.
In Kware somewhere. That guy vies. Then we all agree, because we allowed Uhuru and we allowed Ruto and we allowed others, and we have allowed Maina Jenga, even this guy we can allow him. The next thing, it will be a serial rapist. We have to get to a point where we say, this is where freshness begins. Yeah.
They are saying that Raila akitoka kwa Ruto, round hii tunampa. I mean, is Raila a fool surely? Kwani Raila ni fala aje?
First and foremost, you need to understand the mountain. You know, people are used to Raila Amolo Odinga, who carries his constituency with him, so that if he takes them to Moi, they move with him. If he leaves the Moi administration and goes to Kibaki, they go with him. If he leaves Kibaki and goes to Uhuru, they go with him. And that has been seen to be the trend. The Kikuyu nation, however, is very different. The leaders follow the people. And that is why Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was appearing very popular in Embu, if you remember. In Embu. Why? Because he appeared not to be on the side of William Ruto. The day Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was seen shaking William Ruto's hand, the mountain left him. If Rigiji today was to tell the mountain, tunarudi kwa Ruto, he would go alone. So you need to understand, in Mount Kenya, leaders follow the people. They always go to where the people are. So if you hear Mount Kenya saying we shall vote for Raila, I'm telling you for sure, just follow the voters. Otherwise, you will not get the votes. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta tried telling the mountain where to go. They told him, no, that's not where we are. Sisi kama mlima tuko huku. And that's how the mountain behaves. And you have to appreciate that. And that's why Rigiji is popular now. He's not popular because he's moving the mountain. No, he's popular because he's doing what the mountain wants him to do. And that's the difference between Raila Amolo Odinga as a leader, who can tell his community or his constituents or his followers, tunaenda huku, and they say, ndio baba. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has tried, right now, the few leaders who've been taken from Mount Kenya, including Kabogo, will not deliver any vote from Mount Kenya to Ruto. Because the people of Mount Kenya are telling them, weenda, but you are on your own. So the mountain is to be followed. It does not follow leaders.
They have denied him votes more than 3 times, more than 4 times. How difficult is it to be Raila Amolo Odinga?
I have always said, and I remember one interview that really went well,
yes,
that I wouldn't want to be Raila Amolo Odinga. First and foremost, if there is a politician who has been insulted in this country, by the way, let me tell you, if Raila was a bad-hearted man, mimi sijui kama kuna mtu Kenya ametukanwa kuliko Raila. Raila has been called Kehe, he's been called uncircumcised, he's been called
Mchawi, Muganga.
There is no word you can imagine that Raila has not been called. I have never had him send his boys to go and kill, abduct, or mistreat the people who've called him names. Raila ameitwa Kimudu Kiguruki. He's been called all sorts of names, and I usually say hats off. I respect him for the fact that he has the thickest skin I have seen in Kenyan politics.
That is why he's Baba.
He has a strong aptitude. He can take up so much. I personally don't think I would have the strength to take up what Baba has taken in. He has really been demeaned and insulted, all in trying to help this country.
Yes.
When he keeps quiet, it's a problem. When he speaks, it's a problem. When he leaves the country, they have a problem that he has left. When he returns, they say, kwa nini amerudi? When he supports Ruto, it's a problem. When he leaves him alone, amenyamaza sana. So it's hard to be Baba. It's hard to be Baba. But first and foremost, I wish him well at the AU. I've always said that it's a race where there's one man wearing the Kenya jersey. Support that guy who is wearing the Kenyan. Don't start saying, yule anakimbilia Kenya lakini ni mkale. Ati kwa nini Mkamba anakimbilia? No. Raila Amolo Odinga is wearing the Kenyan t-shirt, and the AU seat is the equivalent of the Olympics. He's running on the track with a Kenyan t-shirt on him. Let us cheer him on, let us support him. As to whether he's going to win or not is a very hard question. I usually tell people, the voters in this election are a very different breed of people. These are presidents. How do you predict how presidents will vote? This is a very unique category of voters. At least see how wetu wa Mount Kenya ama wherever. It's a very unique breed of voters that even us are beginning to learn. How do you predict how a president will vote? So that we leave to God and to fate. If Raila wins, I will celebrate him. If he loses, come back home. We still love you. We have seen your inadequacies, we have accepted. We have seen your strengths, we've accepted. And either way, I've always said, it will be impossible to delete Raila's legacy. I mean, how do you say he didn't do the 2010 constitution? How did you say he was not in jail for 8.5 years? You cannot delete Raila's history. You can't. So when he comes here, either as AU chair or as a man who tried and did not win, we will cheer him and welcome him back home. And we will tell him that, Raila, the only thing that we want to separate you from our politics is the day that God will remove you from this country. But we want him to continue being active even when he's 90 or 100 if God wishes him to live to 100. This is all we can wish him. Yeah.
Tell me about the mountain. Rigiji, the self-proclaimed truthful man, is walking with entire mountain in his pocket and is running away with it, my brother.
Rigiji has not taken the mountain.
Come on, what do you mean?
Rigiji has gone to where the mountain is. If you think Rigiji has taken the mountain, tell him to deliver that mountain to Ruto. He will go alone. Not only alone, he will even be stripped. He will go there naked. He will not go with even one. I don't even think his own children would follow him to William Ruto. I don't even think Dockers would follow him. He would go alone. He would bring one vote, his own singular vote, if they will allow him, because they would even steal his ID at night. He may not even vote for Ruto the following day. So he doesn't really have the mountain. He's the strongest and highest ranking person in the society who is leading a war against what the mountain doesn't want. And what the mountain doesn't want is William Ruto. So, and that's why Bidan, now the mountain is warming up to Muturi. And they're saying, hata wewe kuja pande uanze kufight huyo, you'll become our hero. So Rigiji is in the right place at the right time. And he's doing it right because he knows his boss. He knows where to press and where not to press and how and for how long. Hapa tunafinyanga for this long, hapa, and so on and so forth. So he's in the right place. He has followed the mountain. The only thing I want to tell him, Rigiji, they impeached you because they said you're a tribal leader. Now people have started surrounding you and calling themselves your army. Wanajiita Itugati. You know, Itugati is the Kikuyu name for a loyal soldier. I want to tell Rigiji, refuse that connotation. Because it will make you appear like you've come with the mountain and all your soldiers are only Kikuyus. Because no Luo will support you and call themselves Itugati or Taita or Mijikenda or Pokomo or whatever. And by the way, you see the mountain leads this country in many things. If the mountain starts a campaign by calling themselves Itugati, which is a 1952 word that was used during the emergency war, it might lead every other person to start thinking 1952. And you'll hear communities saying, we are also Orkoyot, we are Loibon, we are Mekatilili Wamenza. Some will call themselves Kavirondo. Some might even go far back and call themselves Luanda Magere, and so on and so forth. So what we will have is a nation made of 1952 warlords. The 2027 election is an election where you're fighting for the rights as enshrined in the 2010 Constitution. The 2010 Constitution speaks of the word national. 174 times it mentions the word national. I have tried looking for Itugati in that Constitution. It's not there. So if we are fighting for the 2010 constitution in an era of AI, people are drawing others in a coffin. You've chosen that the weapons you are going to use are the weapons of 1952. You know, it's like hearing there's going to be a Formula One race, and then everybody has come with a Tesla, you know, Audi, BMW, the latest vehicles of this century, Subaru, and this guy decides, no, I am going to look for a Ford Perfect or Morris Minor, kale kalikuwa kanakaa ng'ombe, that was manual 3-gear with a carburetor, into a race for 2027. You're definitely bound to lose. You will not take that car to compete with a Porsche Cayenne and so on and so forth. So they have chosen the wrong implements for the wrong war. And I will tell you, I wish they didn't go back to 1952 to look for what is their clarion uniting call for them to fight against William Ruto. You have to start thinking 2027. What will happen is that we shall get people who are not worthy of leadership but want to be elected. So you come and cling on to him and say, mimi nige Tugati ya Thika. Then you are given the Thika ticket. Mimi nige Tugati ya... We have to remove that. Otherwise we shall have very many idiots who will rally around him only to be elected. And they are going to reduce a person who has been a deputy president to a level now he's going to be a tribal kingpin. And people will be saying he leads the Getugati party. And Getugati is a Kikuyu word. Who wants that? So Rigiji, this is a high time you tell them no. It stops here, it ends here. This Getugati thing cannot go on. I don't want to be associated with tribalism, and I don't want to be seen as a regional leader.
Fine, Ruto might be bad, yes, but who has the capability to send him home?
I'll tell you this. You see, God is very fair. The way people are disappearing, God will not produce his candidate for 2027 now. What if that candidate disappears? I think first knowing what you don't want is a good thing. You know, going to a hotel and knowing kesho sitakula maharagwe, jana ilinifanya tumbo kitu ya maajabu. Knowing that you're not going to have beans is the first step. Now, deciding what you will have as opposed to beans is another thing. But at least it's becoming clearer to the minds of Kenyans that if Ruto vies alone, he's going to be number 2. If he vies and there are 2 people, he's going to be number 3. So either way, Kenyans have decided he's not number 1. Yeah. Ruto, so there will be number 1, and then there will be others, and Ruto will be part of others.
We do not have IEBC in place, and then you hear a leader saying that 2027 is a done deal, that nobody has the capability to send President William Ruto home. Tell me, is 2027 a done deal for William?
Why would Raila support Ruto?
But they're already working together.
No, my friend, listen. If I was advising Raila Amolo Odinga, I would tell him, Ruto got 1.9 million votes from his Kamatusa. Then he got about 4 million votes from the mountain. When he loses 4 million votes, even if Raila did not get a new vote and he came as he was, he's won that election. The margin between them was 200,000. Think about it. You are Raila Amolo Odinga. Your opponent beat you by 200,000 votes. This opponent has lost 4 million votes. You have not lost 4 million votes. Why would you want to support him? If there was ever a time when Raila stands a chance to be president, it's now. And we pray that God preserves him. Because if he was to present himself just with his 7 million, nasema mimi hata sijaongeza moja, nimekuja tu as I was, he would take it in the morning. So why would he support the losing candidate? If he thinks about it that way, he's president. If he doesn't look at it that way, why support someone who's lost 4 million votes? Elections are won on numbers. Every election that has been held since he first vied with Musalia Mudavadi, he has gotten 48 or 49% of the votes cast. Worst case scenario, he gets 47% of the total votes cast. So you come with a whole 47% or 48%. The guy you are competing with, anapatanga 51, 52%. He's lost more than half of his votes. So you come with what you have. Hizi zingine wanagawana watu watatu. And he's president. So I wouldn't advise Raila Amolo Odinga to support William Ruto.
It seems like not many Kenyans are aware about mediation, are having the right information about mediation.
I think I'll be very brief. Mediation is simply getting 2 people who have a dispute to sit with a person who is trained on helping them how to resolve a dispute. There are 1.7 million cases in court today, and people are suffering. Sometimes I have been given cases that are 39 years old, and we've resolved them in 2 sittings. 2. Una meet Monday, una meet Thursday, you sign the agreement. So we run a firm called Kilimani Mediation Center. And what we do is we are court-accredited mediators. I'm a lawyer by training who chose that I'm not going to go to court. I am going to help people resolve their disputes out of court. And now the judiciary has created what we call mediation rules. It's a guideline on how you can resolve your disputes out of court without necessarily having to spend a lot of money on lawyers and spending a lot of time in court. The average time for a commercial matter in court is 3.5 years. Today, if you have a dispute with someone, you can come sit and we help you come up with a mediation settlement agreement. It is filed in court and it's treated as a binding judgment of the court. Secondly, and most importantly, which should be the last thing I say about mediation, is that at Kilimani Mediation Center, we train people to become mediators. And the mediation course, you'll be surprised, is a 40-hour. You start on Monday, you finish on Friday. And you do not have to be a lawyer to study mediation. You can be a plumber, we'll teach you mediation. You can be an auctioneer. You can be whatever profession you come from. You can study mediation and you can become a court-accredited mediator because we guide you and help you with the process. A court-accredited mediator simply means the court looks at you, looks at your credentials, puts you through an interview, and if they onboard you, they start giving you cases to resolve on their behalf. Yani unakuwa jaji mdogo. And then you file the agreement with them and it is accepted as a binding judgment of the court. Now the court-accredited mediator is paid by the court for every court they do. And you get a badge with the judiciary logo on it saying Samson Otieno, court-accredited mediator, and you feel happy about it. So I think that's in a nutshell what mediation is about. Yes. It's about people trying to resolve their disputes out of court.
It seems like there is no much information about mediation outside there. Tell me, at what point does mediation start or begins? Must someone take a case to court first, or it can even begin before moving to court, so that people do not have to waste resources getting to court first? Or, I mean, tell us about it.
Kuna hika process tumezoea kanaitwa litigation. Litigation is unaambianga mtu utaona judge, utaniona, you'll hear from my lawyers. And when you go, I usually tell Kenyans, do you know the ironical thing? The person who knows the least about your case, imagine is the judge. He knows the least, and he's the guy who's going to make the decision. The person who knows the most about your dispute is the two of you. So you're better off getting a mediator to help the two of you make a decision about your problem. Initially, it was simple. Initially you had to go to court first. Initially, you had to go to court first. But today, you can come with a dispute and decide you're not going to court. Come to a court-accredited mediator, which we are at Kilimani Mediation Center. We reduce the dispute into writing and the agreement into writing. We file it in court. It's treated as a court judgment. So whoever will default now will be in default of a court judgment. So you don't need to go to court.
Thank you so much, my brother. Yes. Your parting shot?
My parting shot is let us love this country. When you hear some of us complain, we are not complaining about Kenya, that we hate Kenya. It's just that you can disagree with your leaders. You can thoroughly, completely and totally disagree with your leaders, but you still love your country. I think that's where we end it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It has been wonderful having you. Asante sana. We look forward to doing this again when we find time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother, for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear viewer. It has been your show, The People's Bench, where we bring it the way it is, without sugarcoating it and without mincing words. We do it again next time, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. That is at Fred Ogweno Live, and also on TikTok at Frederick Ogweno Governor, aka Governor Without Portfolio. I appreciate you, and I thank you very much for your time. We do it again next time. Thank you, and bye-bye.